What is up, guys? Fahir here from AwesomeTunes.com, and moving forward with our 3D game. But before that, just as a quick reference, you can learn advanced 3D game development with advanced particle effects, advanced scripting. Everything is advanced, and you can get it right here on my website. If you want to get it cheaper or you want cheaper discounts, go here, download the free assets, and you will get on my mailing list. I said that in the previous video where I give the highest discounts. Also, download the complete project and along with all of the assets that we are using here in this tutorial series in the description below. Now, moving forward, I want to create that water effect that we saw in the preview. So we are gonna right click in the hierarchy and we are gonna create a 3D plane. So this is a game object, it's a 3D plane. Let me just position it 0, 0, 0. And let me zoom in where the plane is. Now, don't be confused. This is not a plane, an airplane where you can, go inside and travel. No, this is just a plane like a field in Unity 3D. I also forgot, and we're gonna do that now. Right click here into the assets and create a new folder, which I'm gonna call scenes, and Command S or Control S or file and save scene on Windows or Mac, and then you will save the scene. So I'm gonna save it here into the scenes folder. This is our gameplay. Hit enter and we are good to go. So now I am gonna rename this one to Daylight Water. So this is our Daylight Water, and we need to add a material on our water. So I'm gonna right click here again onto our assets and create a new folder for materials. So materials. Go inside of that folder, right click and create a new material. So it's right click. It's create and then material. So this is what you need to do. Click on the material and I'm gonna call this one water material, and we need to drag and drop it on our Daylight Water. And now you're like, okay, nothing has changed. What are you doing? Well, of course it didn't, because we did not change the shader. So if we go now into the shader options here, I'm gonna click on the drop down list for the shader. Currently it is set on standard, and we talked a little bit about shaders in our Pumpkins and Golems game, and I said the shaders will determine how your textures or how your 3D objects will look like. So you create a material, select the shader, apply the images, and voila, you are good to go. So we are gonna move from the standard shader and go to the FX, so effects shader, and I'm gonna select the water one. So select the water, and automatically this here has changed. As you can see here, we have to apply some images, but before that, we're gonna go here at add component, and I'm gonna filter for the water script. So select the water script and voila, we are good to go. Now, before you're like, oh, what is happening? What did we do? So on and so forth. How did we get all of these? Well, all of these are available. When I say all of these, I mean the water script. I mean this FX shaders here, because by default you don't have them. But we imported these standard assets. So we imported the standard assets. Here we have the water. Here we have these sources. So here are the shaders, as you can see here. Here are the materials for it, so on and so forth. Now, I did not use these materials, even though we can. So we can use this Daylight Water, and I can apply on it like this. So voila, we are good to go, as you can see. And the only difference between the shader that I have applied, so this one here, water material, is that we will need to select all of the textures that are automatically selected here. So these are the textures. So this water, Fresnel, they are located here. So if I go into the standard assets, water, sources, textures, here they are. So all of these textures we will need to apply to the shader here. And you can see all of these that are applied. So you can click on the select and it will show you directly what is applied there. So again, select here, again, click on select here and whatnot. Now, again, as we can see, notice the water here, we have the reflection of the clouds. If I go here into the camera, we are not actually seeing that. So I'm gonna take the main camera and change the settings for the main camera. So the first things first, we are gonna set the Y at 4. I'm gonna set the Z axis at -11. And I'm gonna position, or I'm gonna set the rotation at 9 for the X, and we need to change this field of view. So I'm gonna set the field of view at 50, and as you can see here, if I decrease or increase the field of view, these are the effects. So I don't want to explain, this is self-explanatory what field of view does. It will zoom in the camera or it will zoom it out. So I'm gonna set it at 50, it will zoom it a little bit. And this clipping planes and this far, I'm gonna set it at 100. So what is this actually? So this 100, what is it doing? Well, depending on the number here, for example, if I set it lower and lower and lower, notice now we are not even gonna see the water. So this determines what the camera will actually see. So it will determine what the camera actually see, how far in distance can the camera see. I'm gonna set it at 100. Let me just go to the daylight water, and I need to resize it. This is something I did not do. So resize it on X, Y, and Z. So X and Y are 10, and the Z scale is set to 20. This is now, or well, this is the effect that we want to get now. And notice we have the reflections here of the clouds, which we don't want. So how can we change that? Well, we can go here into the water script. It has a couple of options. So it has this refractive, reflective, and simple. If I select reflective, notice the difference now. If I set it back to simple, notice the difference again. This is the effect that I choose. And if I hit the run or play button now, notice the waves. So do you see the waves on the water surface? It's like this is water, you know, I'm just waiting for a shark to come out and grab me. If I double click on the water script and if we go inside, we will see how the script is coded. First things first, you will notice this execute in edit mode. Make water live update even when not in play mode. So this execute in edit mode, if you put it above the script, it will allow you to execute this script even in edit mode. And you will notice a little bit, notice how, let me zoom in. So notice how I'm zooming in and the water is actually moving. So the water is moving every second here, as you can see. I don't know if you can notice, but probably on your computer you can notice. And this is what this executed edit mode is doing. And notice the script, this is the script, and this is what the script is doing. You can actually go here and take a look at the code. I'm not even gonna try and explain all of this here because, well, for example, we need shader coding, or we need to know what shaders are, as you can see here. So we have some shaders or editing shaders. And let me go down. I think also I saw somewhere that we are editing, or here, that the shaders are getting edited. Anyways, it's not important, but the point here is that the script is allowing us to create the water effect. And notice how simple it is. Everything is done for us. So everything is done, and we just need to apply the script. So depending on what you want, you can play here with the settings. So you can set a refractive, and let's take a look at when we run the game, what refractive does. Notice the refractive is more like a little river, and the water is like, you know, going constantly and not stopping. If I put it back at reflective, we have also disabled pixel lights if I turn that off. Anyways, reflective is also pretty. So we can use also reflective. I use this one. This is the simple one that I use, but let's try it with reflective. And by the way, let me just go here into the lightning. And when you go into the lightning here, notice this auto here, which is checked. Well, uncheck it. The reason for it, it says it automatically detects changes and builds lightning. As you can see, we have this directional lightning here. We did not talk about lights, but notice if I turn off, actually we have the ambient from the ambient intensity from the skybox. So it is also giving ambient intensity. Some other time we will talk about lightning and whatnot, but at the moment just uncheck this auto because it will not render lightning in our game every time we change something. So just uncheck it. And as I said, in some other time or in some other tutorial, we will talk about lightning in more detail. And as I said, I use this simple here for the water, for the preview that you saw, but I'm going to use reflective just to make the game a little bit prettier. And now it looks awesome. So this is how we can, with a simple lines of code, or actually none of lines of code, but with simple dragging and dropping, we can create a water effect. And if I go back, let me just go back here into, let me just take a look at, okay, where I need to put all of these assets inside of the daylight water. So let me just go back into our materials, apply the water material on the daylight water. So now we can apply all of these textures. And if I go back here into the standard assets, water, sources, textures, select here daylight water. So here we can drag this water Fresnel. Here we need to drag this normal, so water bump. For this one, we need to drag this ocean gradient. So as you can see, now our texture is coming to life. Here for the reflective color cube, we need to drag this ocean gradient cube. So drag it right here. And for this one, I'm gonna drag the waterfall back. And for the last two, I can even drag this one right here, and I can drag this one right here. So as you can see, notice now the effects that we have with our water. Let me just run it again. So you can either use the ones that I just added here, and you can choose, well, whatever you want here, so reflective, simple, and whatnot, or you can simply go back here into the sources, where sources, materials, daylight water, and I'm gonna put it right here, and voila, we're good to go. Let me just take a look at the nighttime water. Yeah, nighttime also looks great. Now just imagine when our skybox is set to night. You can experiment that on your own. The best way to learn is to experiment. I say that all the time, and for some reason people do not get that thing. So the more you code, the more you will learn, the better you will be, and the quicker you will learn. So this was it for this video. I know I stalled a little bit, and I don't care. If you want to learn, you will need to get used to a little bit longer videos. Fahe here from awesometudes.com. Do not forget to download the assets for this tutorial along with the project that I'm currently creating, but it's a complete project. So the link is in the description below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.